and welcome to Medical Dialogues. I'm Dr. Bhumika. Let's look at today's top medical news. Folic acid and vitamin B12 deficiencies tied to higher blood pressure in children, study reveals. A recent investigation into the impact of folic acid and vitamin B12 deficiency on essential hypertension in children and adolescents has revealed a significant correlation between these nutrient deficiencies and elevated blood pressure levels. The study that combined data from a nested case control analysis and a cohort study unveils the crucial role these vitamins play in cardiovascular health during childhood. The research found that deficiencies in folic acid and vitamin B12 are associated with higher BP levels in younger populations. The findings published in the Journal of Human Hypertension confirmed the importance of maintaining high levels of folic acid and vitamin B12 in childhood by diet or supplementation. Xiaohua Liang, key laboratory of children's important organ development and diseases of Chongqing Municipal Health Commission, Chongqing, China, and colleagues aim to investigate the connection between serum levels of folic acid or vitamin B12 and elevated BP in children and adolescents. For this purpose, the researchers designed a nested case control study and a cohort study to examine the relationship between serum folic acid or vitamin B12 levels and elevated BP in children and adolescents. All participants were primary school students. The nested case control study involved 326 subjects drawn from an established cohort. Additionally, the cohort study included 270 participants free of hypertension at baseline and was followed up in 2019. The study led to the following findings. Hydrocortisone in septic shock. Continuous infusion and bolus dosing yield comparable blood sugar results, revealed study. A recent prospective randomized study has investigated the effects of continuous infusion versus bolus dosing of hydrocortisone in patients experiencing septic shock. The research is particularly significant given the critical role of corticosteroids in managing septic shock, a life-threatening condition often marked by severe infection and systemic inflammation. The researchers demonstrated that continuous infusion and bolus dosing of hydrocortisone have similar effects on blood glucose level in patients experiencing septic shock. The findings were published online in the Indian Journal of Critical Care Medicine. Corticosteroids are advised for use in adult patients with septic shock who need vasopressors to maintain blood pressure. However, this treatment can increase the risk of hyperglycemia, which is linked to worse outcomes. Considering this, Rashmi Salhotra, Department of Anesthesiology and Critical Care, University College of Medical Sciences and Guru Tegh Bahadur Hospital, New Delhi, India and colleagues conducted a prospective randomized study to compare the effects of continuous infusion versus bolus hydrocortisone on blood glucose level in patients with septic shock. 40 adult patients with sepsis and septic shock who required vasopressor support were randomly assigned to either group C, receiving a continuous infusion of hydrocortisone at 200 mg per day, or group B, receiving intermittent bolus doses of hydrocortisone at 50 mg IV every 6 hours. The study compared several factors including blood glucose levels, the frequency of hyperglycemic and hypoglycemic episodes, daily insulin requirements, the incidence and time to shock reversal, and the nursing workload involved in maintaining blood glucose within the target range of 82 to 180 mg per deciliter. The study led to the following findings. High dietary intake of trans and saturated fatty acid may exacerbate atopic dermatitis, find study. High dietary intake of trans and saturated fatty acids may exacerbate atopic dermatitis, find study published in the Skin Health and Disease. Numerous evidence has attributed diets with a high fatty acid intake to be associated with atopic dermatitis development. Therefore, this study investigated the association between intake frequencies of 5 dietary fatty acids and atopic dermatitis exacerbation among young Chinese adults from Singapore and Malaysia. A validated international study of asthma and allergies in childhood questionnaire was investigator-administered to 13,561 subjects to collect information on socioeconomic, anthropometric, dietary and lifestyle habits, and personal or family medical histories. 6 novel dietary indices were derived to analyze the association between total fatty acid, trans fatty acid, saturated fatty acids, monosaturated fatty acids, linoleic acid and alpha-linolenic acids in diet, and atopic dermatitis exacerbation. Synergy factor analysis was used to identify interactions between the dietary fatty acids to influence disease susceptibility. Glycated hemoglobin may predict disease severity among patients with NAFLD, Fine study. Glycated hemoglobin may predict disease severity in patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a study published in the Diabetes Research and Clinical Practice. Currently, non-invasive scoring systems to stage the severity of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease do not consider markers of glucose control. The study aimed to define the relationship between HbA1c and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease severity in patients with and without type 2 diabetes. Data were obtained from 857 patients with liver biopsy staged non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Paired biopsies from interventional studies were used to assess the impact of change in weight, HbA1c, and active versus placebo treatment on improvements in steatosis, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, and fibrosis. Thank you for watching Medical Dialogues. Stay tuned for more such updates.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.